You need something to eat. Yeah, drink.
It's a helmet.
Helmet here.
I won't have to think about it for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
So the first thing we should talk about is the fact that Lanham rather didn't join us.
Yeah. No.
Son of a
So
gun's
that
off
means
making his fortune.
Big deal.
Big deal.
Big
That's right.
deal. Exactly.
Good.
That means he's on the table for anything we want to talk about. Anything goes wrong, it's Lanham's fault.
Well,
Taking care of
I
it.
told him I would have my phone on the table if he wanted to call in, for that matter, anybody, so that anybody could join us that wanted to. But
Is the camera running now while we're talking?
yeah, it started a little bit ago. I didn't think it would be. Ordinarily, a maitre d' seats us, and we started eating and ordering and all that. And we didn't have that, so I thought let's just ease into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no food. Well, I think the funniest part is when I was walking down here with Becca Donnelly, and she says, "Oh, there's Mr. Barnard." I go, "It's been 40 years, Becca." Yeah. You're now old. You don't have to call him Mr. Barnard.
Oh, that's
anymore.
right. Yeah. Oh, geez. I want
No, Becca has class.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll ever stop doing
I
that.
know, it's funny.
That's
They
tough.
do that.
Well, what a wonderful surprise that we come in and we find out that the current music teacher was a year before us. And
Yeah.
that you had a chance to make some old acquaintances.
Yeah.
And in the music room, now I don't know if you got a chance to go in there. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
We took some pictures of it. The Bel Airs are still up there,
Good.
but they've turned the choir 90 degrees.
Yeah,
You
I
just have
had
to
her
back
back
to
to
the
you,
pictures.
and she's probably got them like this.
Well, we should start with I mean, we all talk every now and then, but other people don't know how you guys have been. So why don't we sort of bring everybody up to date with how you're doing and how your families are doing? I'm sure everybody would love to know. So let's start with you and just let everybody know what's up with you.
Well, let's see, I got retired by a student about 10 feet from where I'm sitting on the stage. Came up behind me and took me by the head. And so I was done. That was it. Family's doing well. Got a lot of grandchildren. Great-grandchild. I sang in the Omaha Symphonic Chorus for 17 years.
That's right. You mean saying you're done with them now?
Yeah, I had my eye.
Oh, okay.
I can't see at night very well.
Okay. All right. We have a picture of your family, and I'd love for you to tell us who all they are.
That's my wife's family.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we remarried 28 years ago,
Right.
and those are hers,
Yeah.
her daughter, and her son,
Okay.
and spouses.
And what went wrong here?
You know, the photographers have to take goofy pictures. You know, look at Nebraska volleyball. They always have to have the girls, instead of looking serious, you have to have a funny picture.
But I love the two of you in the middle, the calm and the storm. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what it is?
that's exactly the way I felt about it too.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Because I never try to express myself though.
Yeah.
You know, everything goes well, I don't.
That's probably safer that way.
Something goes bad, I keep quiet. I mean, like lying. Yeah, stupid. Yeah.
And
I used to say different words though.
How's the family?
Fine, fine.
You brought a picture of them. We'll show everybody that, tell us who what there are and how they're doing.
Yeah. We have 6 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren, and they're all in the area, so we get to see them a lot. By area, I mean between here and Kansas City.
Yeah.
But you know, I retired in 1992, and just kind of kept my hand in, because I play a lot of programs for middle schools and elementary schools and OPS and Elkhorn, and done a lot of musical theater too.
Yeah.
You know, I've probably been musical director for almost every community theater in the area at one time or another. So I enjoy that.
I'm going to want to ask you about that, about being a music director, especially at the Playhouse. We'll talk about that. I think that was the first time that I saw you in years, was when my son was at Harrison Elementary, and they had a music, and I look up and you were doing the accompaniment, and unfortunately it was
Deja vu.
it was an auditorium full of people, so I couldn't get to you.
Sure,
But,
yeah, that's interesting, that run in some other situations like that where a former student is there because
Oh,
their
yeah.
kids involved.
Former
you know,
students,
yeah.
all over,
Right.
all over.
We have a picture someplace, I showed it to you, that I got off of a brochure of you playing with the Crossroads Connection.
Right, yeah,
That's
I do
another
that.
group, right?
That's the volunteer work, and I'm on call unless whenever they need somebody.
See, when you're retired, you need extra money once in a while.
Amen, I want to tell you, I
Yeah.
thought I would never do a program just for money, but I think it's getting to that point now.
Yeah.
You know, don't call me unless you're going to pay.
You don't get to choose the material. Huh? Well, that's one of the things we're going to talk to you about later on is how you choose material for Bel Airs and albums and all that sort of thing. So this is the first time that you guys have been back in the building for a little bit, or?
Well, you
You were here
know,
for
I've
Billy
been here
McWiggin.
several times because I played a lot of programs for Wake Robin Elementary.
Okay.
Oh,
And
they did a
some
Christmas
other
program,
elementary
yeah.
schools, and they did them here.
Yeah.
So I've been here for that. I was in a Kiwanis club for a while, and they had their convention in here. You know, instead of going to all all the little meetings, you know, I'd walk around the school to see what had happened. And then one of our granddaughters student taught here, so we came out and saw a couple things that she did. Yeah.
And I saw a picture of it. You came, the two of you were here when Billy McWiggin played here.
Right.
And
Yeah, we
which,
sat right down there in the front.
which show was that he did at that time? He's done a few.
It was kind of a conglomerate.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was, Buddy Holly and Beatles and
Yeah,
stuff.
right. Great guy.
I was kind of struck. I didn't think the theater had changed that much since we were here. The electrics have obviously, the control panels and all that have all changed.
They're able to get more lights up there. They must have brought in some new electricity.
Front of the building sure changed though.
Oh, yeah.
Like coming into a
Inside.
hotel now.
You seen the garden in the cafeteria?
I missed that.
There's a garden.
Oh, yeah.
I think they had a banana tree in there.
They grow their own food.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
First thing I noticed when I came into the auditorium was that hump is gone in the middle. 'Cause every time
Yeah,
you
first
walk
thing I
down,
noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the carpet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's halfway.
It was halfway.
Yeah.
It's where that curtain always ran.
Right. The curtains that never worked.
Yeah, right. Never
Yeah.
used it.
Never.
Yeah, that was always the best.
I see the pit is still here.
They waited.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine this has probably been rebuilt since '76, but
This
that's,
is permanent now.
This is
We used to-
permanent now.
We used to build it when we wanted to use it and tear it down, but now it's permanent.
Well, we did that in Dolly. It was the
Yeah.
First time we did.
You
Yeah,
still have
that's the first time we
nightmares.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they built the thrust.
Yeah, built
It's
the
because
thrust.
you had to jump across.
I
the-
jumped across it, yes. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that's
And he
scared me.
complained.
I know, I'm looking at you, and you're looking at
How
me, and
far
I'm like,
is
going,
that?
I
How
gotta
far?
go for it.
Yeah.
How did we have that one Sunday? It was what, an 8-hour rehearsal, straight through.
I remember you mentioning that the next day.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, you were an athlete. You can take it.
Yeah, but it's all the others that were having trouble. It was poor Lanham. He was having a hard time.
Lanham is a wimp. Big deal, though.
Yeah.
See what happens when you don't show up, Lana? Well, that was one of the things that, since we talked about doing this thing, I've had a number of people get in touch with me and ask me to share things with you and ask you questions and all that. One of the things that came up, in fact, it was Mrs. Donnelly that asked about it. She was, or Becca, I guess it was. I don't want to give credit to the wrong person. But the fact that you did have so many athletes in your shows, and that you literally would go down and raid the wrestling room for some of them.
Yeah.
And you were talking to me on the way.
Somebody had to lift the girls in the dances, guys.
But for West Side Story, we got all the thugs out of there.
Yeah. The last one was really the thugs. They were real.
But what was your thinking behind all that, and what was the benefit of it?
Well, my thought really was to incorporate everybody. I think schools make the mistake of coming only out of the chorus. The actors, actresses, everything comes out of the chorus, and I think the music director loses something. I wanted to get the ROTC kids, these kids, this kid, every little clique or whatever it is in a high school involved. But I wanted them to see the kid that they might make fun of or pick on or bully in the hallway they'd see them up here and be in the show with them and be in rehearsals, and they would realize, you know, that kid has some value. And I really honestly think to a certain extent, it changed the culture of this school. Because those guys, those football players, the athletes, they didn't allow somebody to pick on those kids anymore. And they took care of it themselves.
I noticed even after the shows, there was a different atmosphere.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Like,
right.
The drug hillside
Yeah.
up over here.
Grit Hill.
Grit Hill, yeah, and no jocks
Yeah.
down on the other side. You
Yeah.
know, there was more of.
They realized those kids had value
Yeah.
and ability,
Yeah,
and some of them did.
yeah.
And I think too that some of those guys that never got down to the theater, one of the greatest highs in their life was to walk out for a curtain call, and this audience standing in unison.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of
That
them
was
did
good.
that in
Good
sports.
point. Yeah. But it changed them, I think.
Yeah,
So, too.
I agree.
You notice there's a lift on the steps?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
really?
years, we used to carry that piano up those
Oh, yeah.
steps. Now they put a lift in.
I'm not sure that's for the piano.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You could have stayed longer if they would have put a lift in for you.
One year I had to get the piano down for commencement or something.
Oh, yeah.
I rolled it out here and went all around the sidewalk and came in down by the,
I remember that.
That and the throngs, I don't know if we want to talk about, since we're on the musicals, the throngs, the cattle call of when he would come down and we were in chorus,
Yeah.
and you put up,
Put up the cast
Put up the
list,
cast
the
list up
official
there.
cast list.
Yeah.
we got nothing.
We just sang real fast.
Yeah. And then those girls come through that door with a charging mob.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you brought that cast list last time. That was wild to see.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. So right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, this is what exactly what would have been posted on the wall then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The position, if they made the show or didn't make the show, whether they got a lead or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
And then you were the one who handled the people who came and said, how come I didn't get in the
oh,
show?
those were miserable, we always posted on Friday and they were miserable.
Yeah.
They were miserable days. The kids that didn't get the role they wanted or didn't make it. Those, I absolutely hated those days. Two best days, we had snow days on the Friday to post a list, and I could post it on the front door of the school and didn't have to face the kids.
So did you have, well, speaking of that, you had to have some times when you were struggling between you were in the cast and you weren't in the cast.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in particular?
Almost a flip in the coin,
Yeah, really?
or their grades. Sometimes the grades actually made a difference.
Really?
Yeah.
There were a couple times where we started the rehearsal and the kid wasn't working.
Oh,
out,
yeah.
And so we made a change.
Well, the one time, the girl was gonna be Dolly. And she saw the cast list and came and told me she couldn't do it. And then the first performance, she had an emergency appendectomy, and so would have been gone if she had
Oh, yeah.
remained. She said she just couldn't, she was in the show,
Yeah.
but she couldn't. She didn't feel like she could handle the stress.
Well, I remember it would have been Dolly and I think the King and I.
Betsy Poling was the replacement.
Okay. But then Dolly and King and I, the two lead female singers, got laryngitis
Yeah.
during the show. So we never had like, Pam,
Pam
Westerfield.
That's Pam Westerfield.
Yeah, and Janelle.
You know more.
Yeah,
Hey, you didn't do understudies or anything, right?
Never did.
Did that.
yeah.
You can't get two casts prepared.
How often did you have to cancel a show because of something?
Never.
Never? Seriously?
Yeah,
Never canceled
never.
a show?
No?
I did, way back before
Well, before?
him.
Yeah.
I can't remember now what it was, Oliver or something like that, and there was a big storm coming. You know, the weekend. And
Yeah.
we had to cancel, we did it on Monday,
Huh,
canceled the weekend.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's tough, because everybody's got other things to do.
Well, I mean, that's what struck me was, is that with everything, with all the scheduling that everybody else has to do in high school and all that, and illnesses and the size of the cast, I mean,
Yeah.
illness could sweep through you like anything,
Yeah.
I would think, and you never had to cancel the show.
Never had a cancel show.
Jeff's
Or replace anybody other than that one girl. Oh, well, you know, there'd be replacement if somebody couldn't do the part or something.
You know, I don't remember anybody ever being sad.
Nobody wanted
Well,
it.
see,
I mean, they wanted to be there.
They signed a contract.
Yeah.
No illness, you know, until the show.
Yeah. Nobody ever missed.
Yeah.
That's crazy, yeah. That's, I mean, it's a remarkable testament to you guys, I would think, that they had such respect for what you guys did here, that it was that important.
It was important. Yeah.
Well, and that is one of the benefits of having big casts and having a mix of casts and all that, is that there is peer pressure within the cast
Yeah.
to do well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and to not let the other people down.
Well, I remember the camaraderie. You know,
Oh, yeah.
doing the
Oh, yeah.
dances, and I can remember, yes, somebody fell on the stage or in a show and comes off the side, and we're all saying, "Don't worry about it, let's go, gotta go."
Yeah.
We'd have us do things. Glo would have us do things where we'd have to run out that door, sprint down this door,
Sprint
come
down
here
there,
to
yeah.
this side. You know, and you're hoping
There were a
nobody's
few of
out
those
the hall-
moments.
Yeah, you're hoping nobody's in the hallway when you ran down.
Yeah. No, but you're right. There was a lot of pride. And
Oh, yeah.
of course, it was half the school up here.
Well, you mentioned before him. How did you guys?
Well, you want to take that?
Well, tell you what, as
Go on,
a
Playhouse.
preface to that,
Yeah.
why don't we start with, because there's a flow to it, why don't you tell everybody when you first came to the high school, how did it change when the high school came and all that, and what you were doing, and then we'll feed into how you guys met, because then it leads into how you got here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You came here when?
I started teaching in Bellevue in 1956. And the first 4 years I was here, well, I inherited, you know, the guy ahead of me, of course. In the first 4 years, they did a variety show every year, spring. And I couldn't handle that. I wasn't creative enough to come up with different acts and things like that. But we did it for 4 years. So I started the musicals in 1961. And because the script was easy to follow and all the words were there.
Yeah.
61 was still at
61,
Mission.
we were still down to what is now Mission.
Mission
Yeah.
Junior High.
And we did Good News, and we did Oklahoma, and then we were finally up here. And then it must have been, what, 71? Was it 71?
71,
Where you were auditioning for Oliver.
Yep.
And I was doing the music for Oliver at the Playhouse.
Because this is back in the day when they jobbed in
That's right.
music
Yeah.
directors in the Playhouse.
Right.
How many had you done there?
5.
You had done 5 shows there.
Well, I did 5.
You did
shows,
5.
yeah. This was the second.
Yeah.
But they call it Oliver.
Yeah.
And
So how'd that come about? What were you doing in 71?
I had just quit a job at another high school. I didn't like the administration, shall we say. Won't mention that school. All the girls. We did the boys' part with another. At another
I think
high
you just
school.
mentioned the school.
There wasn't any religious aspect.
No, there wasn't any religious aspect at all. But I did not have a job, and I had 2 little girls.
Yeah.
And I went for a walk one night, and we didn't live very far from the Playhouse. I just happened to walk by. I was not involved in theater or anything. And I ran into a guy that I'd gone to college with, and he said he was going in to audition for Oliver. So he said, why don't you come on in? So I went in and kind of looked around down the basement there where it was.
Right.
And I didn't know what came, well, okay, I'll do it. And I auditioned for Bill Sykes, the bad guy, because I knew the song.
What did you sing? My name? His
My name.
His name?
Yeah,
My name,
his-
whatever it was.
My name.
Yeah.
And then I left.
Right.
That was it, you know. And I got a call to come back. And I did a short little thing for Fagin, and I left again. And the next day, the phone rings, and they asked me to do the role of Fagin.
Really?
And I hung up because I thought it was this Bob Lane who was playing a trick on
For
me.
Fagin.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I never even thought I'd ever be in a show at the Playhouse. I'd done a lot of theater in college, but not
And who was the director with him?
Fritz Congdon.
Okay.
Fritz.
Okay. And you were the music director?
Yes.
Yep.
So you got...
He knew I didn't have a job, so one day
just.
There
got
was an
talking.
opening here.
Yeah, we just got, it was coincidentally, there was an opening here, and we just
Yeah.
kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. You said you were gonna check with the principal, Bud
Yeah.
Boylston. And next day he came back and said, yeah, you
Yeah.
can go in. And so I went in the next day and did the interview. Well, it really wasn't an interview. Phil called all the English teacher, which everybody would remember. Took me on a tour of the building. And the principal said, well, when you get done with the tour, let me know if you want the job. There was no discussion about the job. There was no pay thing. There was nothing. And so he said, if you want the job, come on back to the office when you're done. So I did. He said, well, do you want the job? I said, yeah. Yeah.
I think an interesting thing too about it is our first get-together. Up to that point, see, I had been pretty much the sole director of
Yeah.
music, although I had some help staging. But then he came in and wanted to be the leader. And I thought, oh, gee, my wife went, what? I said, wait a minute, let's think about this. You know, and so he took over the directorship of it, and I just did the music,
Right.
and then we did other stuff.
Yeah.
But and that was a great decision I made because I slept a lot better.
But we thought, because of the Playhouse experience and stuff, we thought alike
Yeah,
on theater.
Right, exactly right. That's good. We ran theater professionally.
Yeah, yeah, we tried to be as professional as we possibly could
Yeah.
in this circumstance.
Where's that come from? Your back, I know
We
a
didn't
little
do
bit
it.
about your background. What was your training? Where'd you come from? How'd you learn to be a drama teacher?
Started out actually when I was away in college in Tennessee, and my roommate was in the little freshman choir musical, and I helped him do some stuff because we were in choir together. And he got sick, and I had to take his part. And that was it.
Because you were a bit of a jock too.
Yeah,
You were a baseball player.
yeah,
Now, but you were in California.
California.
How'd you end up in Tennessee?
A friend of mine at the church I was going to was there
Okay.
his last year.
Okay.
So he talked me into coming there.
Huh, you've been around. Your background's a little different.
You know, it's amazing to me how I got involved in theater. I had the lead in my junior high operetta and my senior high operetta, but that was the only experience I had with theater. And I got into a couple shows in college where I was in the chorus, and that was so boring I couldn't handle it. But then when I came here, and you know, the Broadway show was just kind of trying to almost hitting the scene in high schools.
Yeah, that would be that era.
And so, like I say, the first show we did was Good News, which is just a one-set show, very simple. But then I kind of got the fever, I guess. Yeah. And I enjoy directing an orchestra. Since of being a vocal teacher, I never had any contact with instrumental music. I just really enjoyed that part of it. And I don't know, things just grew from there.
So you did Oliver at the Playhouse. What else did you do there?
1776,
I have a
Music
picture.
Man, My Fair Lady,
All right.
Shenandoah.
Yeah.
I did Oliver twice, actually.
Twice.
O Pioneers,
Okay.
West Side Story, The Fiddler on the Roof.
You were in West Side Story?
Yeah,
Who were you?
I was Schrank,
Oh,
Lieutenant Schrank. That's when I replaced Mike Smith, who went here. I had to go in 2 nights before the first performance. First.
Any other shows at the Playhouse come to mind?
I don't remember what I.
uh-oh. How about,
1776.
Hey, how about 12 Angry Men?
12 Angry Men. That was a great show. Yeah, 12 Yeah, I wouldn't even.
11 of the cast members were
I
great.
loved it. It was that juror number 10 who got to swear at me every night. Yeah, I'd forgotten what all I listed.
You were thinking musical.
Yeah, I was thinking music. Well, he had the pictures up.
Well, I did. I wanted to talk about
So
something,
we're
but
going
I
there.
was just waiting to hear 12 Angry Men. Apparently,
That was a great show.
blocked it from
Great
your
actor.
memory. We sat like this every night.
Yeah, we
for-
sat like this right here. I was juror number 9, I was juror number 10. I'd stand up and he'd swear at me.
Yeah, but I got my comeuppance. So.
Yeah,
That was a great show. It was a great
that
show.
was a great
But
show.
I have a picture of 1776, and it is a remarkable, not picture, but cast. And
Look at that hair.
If you, yeah, tell everybody who was in the show with you. And I've got a picture here to help you.
Well, Tom Weiss, Randy Vest, Bob Roberts, Tom Honer, Ann Goodwillie, Mary Jane Mueller.
Yeah, Mary Jane.
I was the envy of every male in the cast. Mary Jane Mueller was one hot-looking item.
She was your Mrs. Jefferson.
But she was pregnant too. Yeah, she was my wife in that show.
Did you say Bill Bailey was in the show?
Bill Bailey, oh, what a great,
What a cast.
yeah. He did a lot of vaudeville in the old days.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you had some wonderful memories of that. We have a wonderful picture of it.
Yeah, that's a wonderful picture, yeah. Look at the hair, look at the hair.
Nothing on the chin there.
Yeah, nothing on the chin.
That was a first.
We'd have to wear tights because all that, and the only way you'd stand on a chair and a guy on each side and hold on to tight, and then you jump off the chair to get him up high enough, and you put a belt around to keep him. Otherwise, I can understand female pantyhose a lot better.
Things you do for theater, huh?
Yeah.
It's like getting the Texas Dirt every night for which show
Oh,
we
yeah.
have.
Gee, that
King and I?
Texas Dirt was
King and I.
great.
Yeah.
That was great stuff.
Who put that on? Was that parents or did we have?
Me.
You put it on?
I knew better than let them do it.
Drown up to your
Yeah,
elbows.
I do the parts they really couldn't get to, and then they would do the rest.
Okay. I just remember having to do it.
There would be a Texas Dirt fight, and that would be all we'd need. So I'd better be there. The girls loved it. The girls loved it.
Now, you had parents involved in the program, the
Later on,
productions, though.
especially,
Later on? What
Yeah.
what did the parents do for you?
we formed a sewing committee of women.
Costumes.
Costumes, and then a dad's Saturdays, where they'd come in and help build the sets.
Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of fun. David Graves was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of in charge of the auditorium because there was nobody else.
Yeah.
Some of the outside things that would be used, when people would use it.
David was one of the people who responded, said he'd love to see you guys and say hi.
Yeah, he's back on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had parents involved in it. And was there anybody else on the faculty that would help out? I mean, you had set builder,
Well-
the set designer.
Greg
Bill
Hartel.
Mankey at the beginning,
Well, yeah, Bill Mankey did sets from the beginning, and then Greg Hartel.
and then Greg Hartel, and then the last
Yeah,
10 or 12 years, it was me.
yeah.
Building and designing?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I designed the costumes and the sets.
Well, I
After
remember,
that.
didn't Dave Young build a music?
Dave Young did a couple,
He
yeah.
built the Winthrop House, and you could
Yeah.
have sold the thing. It was so solid. I mean,
He
it was like a regular house.
He had an unlimited budget for that.
Well, speaking of that, where did the money come from? I mean, we had some pretty fancy stuff going on here.
But where did we get that money?
I went so far over, we had to make out a budget every spring. And I would have to make it out, and I'd always ask.
Without knowing what the show was
Without
gonna
knowing what
be.
the show is,
That's
or
the
what
thing.
it would call for, or anything else. And it would just be ridiculous, because they would, I thought there was a lot of pressure. And I would go so far over it. And one day I was superintendent's office, and he called me in for about something or other. And so I asked him, the school, I didn't know this, and a lot of people didn't, I don't know how many people did. They would count how many kids went out for football, played football, freshman through senior year, how many wrestlers, how many basketball, how many, whatever the sport was. And then they would figure out how much that event cost them, and they would figure out how much it cost per kid. And they, as he told me, the musicals are a bargain, because you got 100 kids on stage and another 10 or 20 or 5 or 50 up in the lights or on crew and everything else. He said, they're a bargain. They're the cheapest thing we have. And he said, they also draw the most people. So that's the way they did. So I was never chastised, shall we say, for going thousands of dollars over the budget.
And they never tried to talk you into taking a smaller cast or anything like
No,
that?
no,
You had full
never,
reign on that.
never.
Because cast size is important around here.
Yes,
A lot of students.
yeah. Oh, fill this place.
Sure.
Well, you want more participation.
But it was all based upon how much it would cost per kid. And I thought, that's unique, I think. Never heard of it. So, Dr. Tripp,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
What the heck? I was always one who was in the back row, so it was always,
this room looks Looks nice in
We
here.
flipped it.
I want to straighten that picture.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, look at these.
Yeah.
Marge is up there.
I am up there. Your old office, sir. It's kind of crowded and it's a little messy, but
It's kind
but
of a
you're-
small office to begin with. It's taking up the storage.
they're not storage
Bare
anymore.
bones operation in those days. Look at all this stuff
And
here.
then, however, Mr. Barnard, if you look, this still makes me giggle. If you look kind of back behind,
Oh, you can see it's the
it's
original stuff.
the original is still there. I said, really? It just makes me laugh.
Did you?
Yeah,
Talk about the TV shows now.
I love
Okay.
We gotta talk about that.
All right.
Yeah, I bet.
Shelley in that group at all. I
There
saw,
was the
what's
Wall
her
of
name?
Fame before.
That's right.
There it was.
Susie Henry.
And you had that
The
beat-up
chair?
right here.
Everybody used to sit in. Everybody used to love to sit in the
Yep.
chair.
Remember that?
Yep. Yep.
Jam the
Yep.
piano in
Yep.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good for
And the
coaching.
lasagna too.
Yeah, that's right.
John Bennett.
Yeah.
They were in the quartet in that show.
The three of you together, I can only imagine.
Oh, that was great. And then I did in '74, I did the Playhouse.
Yeah,
Charles Jones' first show here.
yep.
And then there were three of them in Bellevue East, and then in 2003, I was in the show. Always wanted to be in that quartet, so I was with the Elkhorn Community Theater, and I was J.C. Squires.
I'm not familiar, what is J.C.
He's
Squire?
the top tenor in the quartet.
Oh,
Oh.
I guess I never knew. You were a tenor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the top tenor was easy because I falsettoed most of the music. That was fun, yeah. And then I played the Music Man out of Barnard High School.
Is that the show you've done the most then?
Yeah.
What about here? Which shows have you done the most here?
Besides
Music
Music
Man. Yeah.
I wouldn't have an idea.
Well, we did
the number.
Dolly. We did Dolly a couple times. We did
Two or
Maine a
three,
couple
yeah.
times.
Well, Maine only once.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah.
we started with Maine
Yeah,
in the very first
up in the little theater, the
Then
last show there.
Betsy Pullen did here in '81 or something.
Right, right.
Okay.
She replaced the girl that had the appendix.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. Boy, there was an actress, Betsy Bowling.
Betsy Pullen's great.
She's still acting, by the way. Yeah.
And let's see. Little Abner.
Little Abner. You're the one that talked me into Little Abner. And I thought, he
Yeah.
said, no, it's a good show. And
You
I
know.
really enjoyed the darn thing.
I did too. I played that show for the Ralston Community Theater, Little Abner.
Yeah.
Oh, now when I played it, I asked me to come in and finish the musical direction because the music director was having trouble. So I came in and did that. Here was the experience. They brought in a director of the orchestra, and I just played piano, but I've got to rehearse the orchestras too. I can't, just
Yeah.
do the music and then have somebody else come in and direct the show. Basically, the music
Yeah.
director directs the show. Can't do that. I never did that again.
That was a strength in your tempos.
Yeah.
Always
well,
a strength.
Yeah, but there are a lot of innuendos I used that this guy didn't do, and I just sat there and cringed.
Shrinking the tempos?
Yeah, those kids got to have that, but those dancers, you can't change that tempo, and some directors do, in the middle of the show, they go, what? Slows down or something, and the kids can't adjust, they can't,
I remember.
They get used to it.
Yeah, because we'd be up here rehearsing and we would have just a recording.
yeah,
And there was
exactly.
one time we had to where we were out of whack because we were doing something and
Yeah.
we figured out that it was, so you just listen to the recording and said, okay, boom, next time it's on.
Yeah.
And it was spot on right
Yeah.
after that from what we were used to.
Well, she was a dancer, and she needed that continuity,
Yeah.
so that's what she demanded.
Is that Marine background dictated that tempo? I never knew that about you. I didn't
I
realize.
got-
either.
Explains a lot, but
Yes.
Really?
I've not seen or heard from Glow since that show.
Really.
You know,
I ran into her once a few years later.
I don't even know if she's still alive.
Yeah.
I ran into her assistant, did a show with her, Kathy Wheeldon.
Okay, oh, yeah, a former student of mine.
Yeah. we
Yeah,
had a
at that
boy,
school
what
I'm
a-
not naming.
Yeah.
She was a great actress.
She really is.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful actress.
Great person.
Really professional, just spot on with everything that she does.
Yeah.
Good training, I guess, huh? Judy
Yeah.
Radcliffe, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
From that other school.
Zimmerman, 2N.
Wonderful actress. So yeah, we wouldn't ask you what your favorite musicals are, but do you have some that are more memorable for good or bad reasons?
Me, yeah, well, the best one I think we did here was My Fair Lady in 1967.
Hmm.
God, we had a great cast, and I got a few people out of the SAC band to play the orchestra.
Oh,
And so,
yeah.
it was in the
It's a
little
ringer.
theater, so it was really cramped, but the costuming was great, and it just was a great show.
Hmm.
But, otherwise, I don't know, all the shows, when you start to pick a favorite, it's just.
I can't.
I know it.
I can't. There was something I just loved about each one of them.
I love Guys and Dolls.
Musical theater.
Yeah.
A passion.
Yeah, but must be some that are more memorable. I was walking in here and Mrs. Donnelly was telling me about the Squeaky Bridge in
Oh, yeah.
Hello Dolly. Not Hello
No,
Dolly,
it's Music Man. Yeah.
It seems like there's probably always.
I never knew that until I heard it. I'd have done something.
Apparently it affected somebody though.
That would have bothered me. Yeah.
I remember the last Music Man, was it Celeste,
Celeste Hilton?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was married, and they were gonna meet on the bridge, and he got there, and he had to wait.
Oh, gosh, I forgot all
Of course,
about
the next
that.
line was.
Yeah, yeah.
Waiting for you.
Yeah.
She had a costume mix-up or something. but
Yeah.
she's-
Oh, I've forgotten about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, there are a lot of things, like the orange that rolled off into the pit.
Oh, yeah.
It was a Hello Dolly. So it was, I don't know, orange was on the table, so
Yeah.
it rolled off and into the pit. And of course, that took, the audience was watching that instead of the show.
Oh, and little Abner when
The
a
pig.
Moonbeam McSwine,
Yeah.
just fine all rehearsal, the little pig, no problem, and then opening night, diarrhea.
Right.
And
And Todd was sitting right
she
down
had
below
a
that
low,
pig.
yeah,
And the odor was terrible.
her cup runneth over.
You asked a question before. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, we could hardly get that odor off the floor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you were talking earlier about
That was the end
fact
of the
that
pig.
He directed his own son.
Yeah. So you had Todd in the pit for how many years?
13 shows he did.
13 shows.
Yeah. Much to the administration's dismay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was,
Oh, yeah.
that's burned us up.
We had some
Yeah.
problems with that too, because I tried to bring in.
We had adults in the orchestra, they could
Yeah.
play it.
Yeah.
But see, what really got him was I brought some kids over from West.
So there was 1 year though that Todd wasn't in the pit.
That's right, it was pajama game.
Yeah, he was up
He
here.
was up here.
Yeah, up here,
It was,
yeah. He
Six
was-
Soroka.
yeah,
Is that his
yep,
name?
yeah.
So what was that like? You didn't
Well,
have
you
to-
know, the interesting thing about that was, remember when, what was the guy's name? Can't think of the character's name. But anyway, he talked into this dictaphone.
Oh, yeah,
And then it was supposed to play back, and he was supposed to sing with it.
Right.
Well, you know, that was an electronic nightmare for us. In all rehearsals, I just sang with him, so we did it that way in the show.
Yeah.
You know,
pretty
my
neat.
voice coming out of the dictaphone, and a lot of people didn't even know that.
No,
It was
that's
already down there.
Yeah. No, I
But
thought
that was
neat.
fun.
yep. That was probably the last of the small musicals too,
Yeah.
small cast
Well,
musicals.
see, that was the first show after we split.
Yeah.
Right. So you had to have a small one.
But Greg Hartel was a genius
Yeah.
with the sets. And that's probably how we got the pig, and then he got the chickens.
Oh, I got the pig. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
he had chickens.
Yeah, I got the chickens.
Yeah,
too.
okay, whatever. I came in here one morning for school, and the stage was dark, you know, and all of a sudden, I heard this noise. What's going on? It was the chickens were in there.
Yeah. Well, the one night, the custodian didn't know about it, and he came in the door down there and turned on the light, and the rooster crowed. he went through so I got a call to go down to the office and talk about that. Yeah.
Did you get called down to the office very often?
Boy, there was one time we both got raped.
Yeah.
That was Dolly. Was the show Dolly? I can't remember, but the guy was ill. He had not a big part, but
Yeah.
enough,
He was in the show.
Yeah, and, if you miss school, you're not supposed to be in an activity. So he didn't come to school, but he still came to the show. Bud found out about it.
Well, he came and told us he had leukemia and was dying.
Yeah.
So he didn't come to school for a couple of weeks. I go,
Bud calls in his office, just raked us over the coals. I don't know that we said anything, we just sat and listened.
we just listened.
And then left. Oh,
Yeah, we won't mention his name.
no.
He was a Bel Air, I think.
Oh, yeah, he was, yeah.
So we were talking in the other room about the Bel Airs, and talk a little bit about that, how you chose the Bel Airs and how you chose the music, how you...
Well, chose them through auditions, and I tried to get the best blend I could get. Way back in the beginning, you're a little more serious than you are as the years go on.
Yeah.
But, I just the kids two at a time, and really be particular about their blend. So their voices would blend. And, they're probably only 18 people. As far as the music is concerned, I probably picked music that I liked.
How about Anita Kerr?
Well, her group was one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah? No!
Well, and I went to a workshop in Kansas City, and she was there.
Oh,
It was great, yeah. I got
Good
to
looking
sing with
and
her. She
everything?
put out one of her things and asked for people to come out of the audience to sing with her.
That was right there, man.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Well, I liked her arrangements, of course.
oh, they were great.
When did you start doing the TV shows?
Let's see, 1961 was the first one. And how that happened was I took a few kids around town to sing Christmas carols. And we were in Baker's Supermarket. And the program manager, the old one, the program manager from Channel 7 heard us and said,
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he said, listen, we have a show on Christmas Eve. I think Elaine Jabetis did it.
Is that right?
And I forget what the show was about. Would you guys like to come down and sing? Great. So we went down there and sang Christmas carols on that show. I mean, it was live. And then it just bloomed from there. The next year, we got asked to come and do again. And, there were a couple of years we did 5 shows in a year.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We did 2, right?
First, we started to do songs out of our fall program.
Right.
Then it was Christmas. And then spring came along, and we do excerpts out of our musical. And then in about the month of May, we'd be doing some, more popular stuff, something like that. That was great because we would record the music first and then lip sync it while they filmed.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know we didn't do that. We didn't do that.
You cheater.
No. I had this terrible coughing fit during one of the microphone right here.
Well, anyway, you guys were about the last.
Okay, yes, I understand that. Yeah, how'd you pay for the album?
Do I have to say that on live camera?
Statute of limitations is done.
Yeah, I don't know, 4 years.
To tell you the truth, I don't really remember how I paid for that.
I don't want to. Bought now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just because we bought them?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
of course, see, when we got to you guys, we were just giving you a cassette.
Well,
No,
we
no.
were the
Oh,
album.
did you
We
get
were
an
the last
album?
of the album.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I forgot
Yeah,
that.
John.
But, we started out with that. God, I remember the first chorus concert I taped and made an album, 1960 that was. Made an album, because I saw an ad in a magazine, send them your tape and then make an album, and they did. But,
Jeez.
I'd get about
Pretty clever.
I'd get about 100 of them and sell them.
One was on eBay, so they're still a pretty hot item. Somebody wanted $8 for them.
You're kidding.
Nope, saw it. I got a picture of it. Yeah, they were looking to sell it.
What year was that?
Well, it was one of the black and white pictures. I couldn't tell what year it was.
Well, and, we used to record those things just like in the room with your own tape.
Yeah.
Terrible recording. Then I finally got acquainted with sound recorders
Yeah,
here
I
in
do
town,
that.
and then started going down there. That was expensive.
That was C.W. McCall was the big thing.
Yeah.
We were
Same year, 77.
Yeah, we recorded in his studio.
Yeah.
And remember, that was like cool.
Started in 1968 with sound recorders. Every year we'd go down there. Yeah. Professional recording.
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't make it sound any better.
Oh, yeah, because I can remember one year, that were there was with Gail McVicker, and the guy comes out, he goes, "You gotta move one of your girls."
Oh, yeah.
So
And it was Gail?
They moved Gail back behind us.
Oh,
Yeah, that
And
was the
they said- and he
toughest
says,
part.
"Just keep
next
sitting
time I
like
see
you
her,
are."
I'll have to bring that up.
That's the toughest
Do you
part.
remember that?
Oh, because of her voice.
I don't think it was the year I did it, so.
I think so. Yeah, because Gail wasn't around when we were seniors, when we were seniors.
She left after.
I'm sorry, we're talking Sam Bass over here in the background.
I think call him Sammy.
I wore black for a couple of weeks after she left.
Because we were talking about parents earlier. Did you guys ever run into issues with stage moms? Stage dads?
Next
We
up-
could write novels. Tolstoy didn't have anything over. I was threatened with FBI investigations, tires slashed, I mean,
What do you guys want people to know about your time here together and working with students and things like that? You've had some time to think about it, I would imagine.
Well, first of all, I think we had a great relationship because he handled the staging, sets, and auditions and all that stuff, and I handled tickets and programs and some other little, the call board, I kept that up to date. So we both had our own thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The interesting
And you
thing-
never worried about him
Yes.
getting it done. I mean,
Right.
it was always done.
But we did have our disagreements on some things.
Yeah.
That was interesting because if we had a disagreement, we didn't talk for 2-3 days, you know? You know?
Yeah.
We're an old married couple, huh?
But I don't think anybody really had that kind of relationship though, that we had. It was a professional, we ran it as professionally as we could.
Yeah, and you were here until 92. And so how many years were you actually here? That's 36? Yeah. 36. And then you left in,
December 19th, 1996, right over there.
and that was.
I did come back and do the show in the spring.
Yeah, and you came back and directed? All
Yeah,
right, explain that to me.
Yeah.
because there wasn't anybody else.
First back up.
I was desperate to get back.
Talk real quickly about what happened.
Okay, a student, well, I was standing and I was talking to two girls and a student came up behind me, behaviorally impaired, and took me by the head and so then I went into the workman's comp system.
Okay.
But I was, the musical was such a big thing in my life. I was desperate. I couldn't remember I couldn't remember kids I had in class or musicals for 3 or 4 years. I couldn't remember their name or anything. I mean, it was just all a big blank. And so they said that would be whoever workman's comp said it would be good therapy, and that way they proved that there was nothing wrong. And so I did it, but I think I only made one of the performances. I couldn't. There were too many. I couldn't remember the names of the kids. I started remembering the names of the kids who had been in musicals, but all the new kids, they're still blanks. I could not remember so many things. And
Was that difficult when you weren't teaching here to come back and do the show because you weren't here all day?
yeah, it was.
Yeah. See, I ran into that too.
Yeah, very much.
I was the musical director for Bellevue West when they did State Fair. And that, it just didn't work out. Don Reimer directed.
Right.
And it just didn't work out because I had to come in during the day. The kids didn't really know me. I was just there for the rehearsals.
Yeah.
It was just not a good situation. You need to be there all
And
the
then
time.
I remember going over there. Somebody yelled out, "Hanon who?" That was
Is
you.
that me?
Yeah, that was you.
Did you ever answer me?
No, I didn't.
You're welcome.
Because I went to that one rehearsal.
What do you miss most about it?
The association with the kids, absolutely, hands down.
Yeah.
And the challenge of putting a show on with those kids. They're still very, very important. What were you guys' names? No, they were. I mean, they're in my life. They're like family. I mean, really is. That's absolutely the truth. The associations and the challenge.
We actually did 21 shows together, didn't we?
Yeah.
Was there ever discussion of different concepts and things like that, or was it just let's put the show on and make it as good as we can?
Concept.
Okay. You've answered my question.
It was get this show, get the kids, do the show. I mean, it was
Get the big ones and let the girls and
Go on. Yeah, I mean, it had it, but we always picked shows that had, well, like a Music Man was the perfect thing. You had the quartet, you had the Watanese, you had the Piccolitos, you had the Sit and Spit Boys. I mean, and you had so many things going on. And we tried to do shows that
Lots of good
that
supporting
everybody
roles.
in the show had at least one special moment, even though it may have been like the Watanese, just do a dance. But that was their special moment. I mean, they were in all the other scenes, but they had something that featured them. And they danced around in a little circle. And, I mean, that's really what we did.
Do you remember Bring Back Birdie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
That was fun. It was 20 years later from Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah.
But
Filth. Somebody here that's out there's brother was in Filth, the rock group, Filth.
that was a great show because they had all different styles
Oh,
of music.
yeah, great
in the same
music.
show.
Yeah. Small
I think
cat.
it lasted 4 days on Broadway.
Yeah, it was something like that.
It was
Yeah.
not a success.
Yep.
Well, I can remember you were telling me once later on that one of the shows we did, we had the quartet, and you put one of the guys in on the quartet, and he was angry. He didn't want to be in the quartet. It's like, that's a small pissy part, I don't want to be in
Yeah.
that. Well, then when he got into it,
How difficult it was.
and how much,
Yeah.
how cool he thought it was.
Yeah.
Because, you're talking about,
Yeah.
the part you're not sure.
It's a great,
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough stuff they're singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tough part of it is you cast your best people in the leads. And so
Yeah.
you're left with the quartet, and you got to find some good people, good
Yeah.
singers for the quartet. And it's tough.
Not necessarily in the choir.
Yeah.
I think the best one we had was 79.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah.
Doolittle and
Yeah.
Ingram,
Yeah.
Sean Husher and Dana Leonard. It was-
Yeah. They were good.
Well, but you gotta admit, the lead in the show he did in 77, the male lead was probably the best you ever had.
What was his name again?
Yeah. It was Sam Bass.
I was long gone by then. Never had a lead in my life.
Well, I think that's probably the best place to stop. Let's all say goodbye, but let's first of all thank the nice people here at Bellevue High School for letting us
Yeah,
do
that's
this
great.
again.
It was fun to come back here.
Yeah, and they open up the doors and they let us go next door and look all over the place, and it's been really wonderful to come back here again.
It's Bellevue East.
Yeah, it's Bellevue East now.
It'll always be Bellevue in my
Oh,
mind.
that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
1977.
Yeah.
All right, next time we do this, we'll do this where there's some food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
very much.
It was great.
See you.
Thanks for doing this.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fun.
our pleasure.